Good afternoon. Are you good? All right. So thanks for joining in for this innovation talk. What I'd like to start you with is bring back you in time. Things where IT and security was very simple, where you had centralized data centers and control of the user, the device, and the application. You had a very simple security architecture that controlled everything. Fast forward into today's world, that is not longer working. Why? Because your users are working from anywhere with any kind of device from any place. So do you want that your users that you are supporting can access HR applications in a public hotspot? Yes or no? Are you allowing users to work from home? And if so, what are the requirements that you need to control? On the other side, what we've seen that digitization of entire industries have formed conglomerates of companies working together. Supply chain attacks, when they started early 2014-15 in Ukraine, we saw that supply chain is a hidden Trojan horse for companies that work together. So if you don't control the infrastructure of your partners and they are connected with you, how do you control their challenges potentially affecting your infrastructure? So suddenly, everyone who is connected is becoming an insider and a potential threat for your organization. We in Cisco, we believe we need a different model, a modern approach to the new environment. We believe that zero trust is the only answer to address the major trends I just spoke about. And we do that in order to achieve what? What we call security resilience or cyber resilience, which means when you're under attack, you are able to survive and even come out stronger after the attack. Zero trust. Zero trust is a name, is a word, but what is zero trust? Is it an architecture? Is it a product that you buy off the shelf? What is it? Zero trust means different things for different people. Whether it's segmentation, whether it's endpoint security, whether it's zero trust network access, a firewall, or what else. What we believe is zero trust is built on three key principles. And those are, number one, never assume trust. Always verify and only give the least privilege access. It's easier said than done, because how do you build an environment where you trust, per definition, no one, and everything must be recontrolled? So, we believe that in the modern world, we need an environment which addresses all the elements of your organization, whether it's the application and the data, independently from where you access it, from your on-prem infrastructure or on the cloud, and independently where the user is and what kind of device he's using. So we speak about the multi-environment IT, where we believe zero trust, the way how we do it in Cisco, is able to achieve it. But how do you do it? How do you do it? There are different ways of implementing zero trust at the end. One way where you make it very difficult for your users to cope with it, because any time they connect, they maybe need to fire up VPN. They need to authenticate every time again. We have done a study last year where users confirmed that 25% every day in a week, they were breaching the company security rules because the security rules were such a big burden on their productivity that they were able to find ways around. And that's what we don't want. On the other side, if you do weak security, then maybe you have a high productivity, but it doesn't help you either. So we believe the only way is on the top right. The only way to build high security with maximum productivity, that is how we want to show you today how we do that. And the best way always is not to speak from a vendor perspective, but to invite a customer that is also on his journey to zero trust and started to implement. And for that, I'm very excited to have our customer and guest coming on stage, Luigi Vasallo from SAA. Buongiorno.
Buongiorno.
Ciao, ciao.
Wow, how many people?
First of all, how are you doing?
Good, good, good. It's really a pleasure for me to be invited by a great company like Cisco and to share my experience. I hope that will be of any interest for these people, these gentlemen here.
Luigi, not many might know the Italian market well enough and don't know SARA. So give us a little bit more background on your company and your organization.
Sure. We are a medium-sized insurance company with a long tradition in Italy. We are part of a larger group, which is Automobile Club Italy. So we have a very traditional company with a long history in Italy. Consolidated market of 1 million customers, 800 million revenues. We have a big network of sales agents, captive and independent agents, 1,500 point of presence, and it's quite complex business because we are offering any kind of insurance product. I don't know if you're familiar with the insurance product, but there are two main categories. One is life and saving, and the other is properties and casualties. So big complexity and a lot of different people, a lot of different roles working for us around the country, like claim assessors, legal, doctors. So a very complex environment of many different people and process.
So we're here to speak about Zero Trust. So what was the trigger point for your organization and for you to implement Zero Trust?
Yeah, I have to start since 2017 when I joined the company. I had completely different experience in telecommunication, media market, and it was my first experience in the financial world. And the insurance market is very different because it's regulated, heavily regulated. And for some reason has not been affected by the digital disruption as happened in other markets like telecommunication or media or others. So I found a situation where the company were basically mainframe based. Everything was around the mainframe. No services, no digital services for customers, no digital services for employees or sales agents. So we decided that we needed to be ready eventually for the digital disruption. So we embraced a dramatic transformation program, and now we are a full cloud company. And all our data and application sits on Amazon Cloud or Google Cloud and Salesforce. And you can imagine that when you change dramatically all these things, also the cybersecurity has to start from beginning because it's a completely different environment. And if you put on top of that in the middle we had the pandemic, also the people are working from anywhere with any device, so the things is super complicated.
Right. So I need to ask you that question, and for sure you heard Cisco live here. Why Cisco and not some other vendor? So give us some insights.
Because it's a very, as I said, it's a very complicated problem to solve. You have many different kind of people, many kind of different data sitting on cloud, on personal devices, on managed devices. You have point of presence with a manager, So it's a massive problem. And I don't have internally all the competencies and the skills and the people to do the integration of many different platforms. Because to have a cybersecurity solution, you need to have, unfortunately, many different kind of software solution. There is no one-stop shopping solution. And this is why, at least for a great part of this cybersecurity framework, we adopted Cisco, because Cisco can offer solution in many different domains, like network, device protection, threat identification, cloud monitoring, etc. And we can work using one single point of control, which is the SecureX console. And this means for us many different benefits. I don't have to spend money and time in doing several integration. I'm very quick when I need to detect something. I have tools to react. So if something wrong is happening, I can isolate immediately an element, maybe a laptop or a server. So I make my life a little simple.
Okay. So I want to show a little bit what Luigi and his organization has implemented. Like, you spoke a little bit about the outcomes, but like, are you happy with the result, and where are you on your journey?
Yeah, we are absolutely happy because we completed this plan, which was started after the cloud adoption. That was in 2018. It was a 1-year program, a crash program. It was not a walk in the park. It was really a tough year for us. But to give you an idea, 1 year of crash program and 3 years of cybersecurity program. So from 2019 to the end of 2021, we implemented the cybersecurity program, which is made of many different things. Mm-hmm. And as of today, we are happy with this because we have at least we have a complete cybersecurity framework. We think we have a maturity level which is, I would say, the best possible for us. Of course, it's proportionate to our dimension, to our risk, and because we are not, of course, Ukraine, we do not manage national security facilities. But however, we have a lot of data that are interested for people. When you manage life and saving products, you have a lot of information about health, about people. So we need to take care about this data because it's the trust that we have from our customers. So we did everything in our needs, and we reached a good maturity level at the moment. And
amazing. Like we are running almost out of time.
Okay.
However, Gartner is stating that almost 50% of companies that are on a zero trust journey will fail. So you are on a successful journey, I would say. Any advice you would give the audience here or live on the web?
Yeah, it's true. It's extremely simple to fail in a digital transformation project or in a zero trust cybersecurity program. There are few ingredients. Probably we will talk tomorrow in a longer presentation. But first of all, you need to have the commitment of your board because it's not an IT program. You have to think that it's not technology. It's a lot of, you need to solve business problem. You need to think about outcome. What are the business outcomes that you want to achieve? And in order to make that, you need to have the commitment of your board. I asked my CEO to sit together with me, for example, when we have crisis simulation, when we need to simulate an incident response. If you have this kind of commitment from the board, probably you have larger chance to be successful. There are even other ingredients, but you need to come to tomorrow.
Okay. Perfect. I know there's more, but I think, thank you, Luigi.
Thank you so much.
Great story. Thanks for coming.
Thank you.
The question is, how can we help you to be successful on your journey? And for that, I invite TK Giannini on stage, our CTO and VP of Architecture from the Security Business Group of Cisco. TK.
Thank you. All right. We get to talk about technology. I want to start by saying that, Zero Trust gives us the opportunity to carry out a lot of security-related objectives. Block the bad things, essentially what we've been doing. It also, though, gives us an opportunity to establish trust explicitly, maybe even cryptographically. And through that, we can get designers to remove the friction of your experience. I know security can be frustrating. This is the opportunity, actually, to raise the friction for the bad guys and to lower the friction for the good guys. Okay, so I'll take you through some of the fundamentals. I want to say that there are sort of 4 columns or phases to a zero trust journey. One is to establish trust, and I mean at the highest degree. So we're not talking single-factor authentication. We're talking multi-factor authentication, and I'll walk you through some innovation, actually, we're doing in that area. The other one is, once we know who you are and your role, we just grant you just enough privilege to do your job. Okay, that is the least privileged principle, and that has been around security for more than 30 years. Okay, we now get to implement that. Why? Because now we have the controls on the network, on the endpoint. We have the controls in the data plane so that the control plane can actually deliver on this entitlement. Now, some of you may actually have known, Cisco maybe even 20 years ago, talking about network access control, NAC. It kind of sounds like an old term now. That is not sufficient anymore. Now we have to do continuous trusted access. So it's not just when you log in that we establish trust. At minute 5, at minute 10, at minute 15, ongoing, we are checking the device integrity, the user's integrity, and frankly, the application's integrity. And if something goes wrong, we lose, let's say, some level of trust, something brought into question, we have to respond to that change. And I don't care if it's 2 hours into your WebEx session or not. We're going to make a change. We might ask you to actually re-authenticate. We introduce friction when we lose trust. All right. I have to talk about a little bit of innovation here, so bear with me. To me, I've been in security about 30, 35 years, and security is not about encryption. It's not about firewalls. For me, it's about innovation. I innovate. I raise the defense level. The bad people innovate. They send me back to my innovation spiral, and round we go. So let's talk a little bit. The innovation in Zero Trust really comes down to being able to ride that fine line where I really want to make you productive. I really want to get out of the way, okay? But the minute you start looking suspicious, I need to check on things, okay? Because most of what the bad guys are doing, they're not breaking into your network anymore. They're logging into your network, and they're becoming you, right? So again, this ongoing verification of trust is very, very important. So when you look at the left-hand side, there's several methods we can innovate on to check the integrity of who you are or your device. There's lots of signaling that happens on the risk side of things. When you look more risky, we're going to actually dial up the authentication. We're going to make it harder and harder, okay? But when we have the trust, we know it's you. We know nothing's really changed since the last time we checked. We're going to just push on through, okay? So even at the time of authentication, we want to be checking factors, like what has changed since you logged in. There is a fingerprinting method that we developed with Wi-Fi. Doing GPS can sometimes break a lot of privacy issues. So what we're able to do is take a fingerprint of all the SSIDs and everything, hash them up, and send a sort of a differential to the cloud and store this in your profile so that one of two things will happen. One, you'll be sitting there working. Your IP address may be changing, but you're still at the same location. I may not bother you. Or your IP is the same, and you've actually moved like 700 SSID hashes in the radio proximity. I'm going to ask that you re-authenticate. Okay, so again, this is how we have a risk-based authentication method. We've also introduced another factor. I would call it sort of the highest amount of friction. And we only do this because of this new threat, which is it's a Friday, some attackers got your credential, they'll just keep on sending you pushes. Okay, you got one of two things to do. You either okay it or deny it. And by push number 300, you're like, oh my God, I need to make this thing go away. And you hit allow. Okay, that's very, very bad. Okay, so we're going to make it impossible for you to do that. I'm going to show you a demo of that. We also have to make it very, very simple for the administrator. There is one or two people probably in your organization that are at the front line of fighting the bad people, okay? We want to show them exactly what the reason is for this particular risky escalation, and we want to show them how to be actionable, to take care of it immediately. So I'm going to show you a quick demo and then get out of the way. All right, let's start the demo. So this is a remote user Let's call her Lee. Her name is Lee. She's just going to get to work. She's working from a coffee shop. She's going to use passwordless, so it's biometric. She needs to get to basically her team drive. She uses her fingerprint. She's successful. She auths in frictionless. She's now working with her files, with her team. No VPN. It's over SMB. So she's happy. I don't know why she's using Notepad, but that's fine. Let's say she needs now to get to her customers via Salesforce. So again, she goes to the portal. You'll see here, success. We didn't even bother her. We have the trust established. Just get to work. So again, high on the priority of productivity. She gets in, she does her thing. Everybody's happy. Now, this is passwordless. This is using trust for the subsequent login. She's happy. She's so happy she goes get coffee. Well, now the bad guy comes in, okay? Now the hacker has stolen her credentials somehow, okay? Just bear with me here. And the hacker is going to try and get into her account. So here, the hacker clicks, log in. Now, mind you, the hacker's coming in from a different device. So all the hacker knows right now is login and password. Okay, that's not going to be sufficient, but here's what happens. Password gets entered. It's the correct password. So what happens? We know it's not coming from the same device, so we say, oh, we're going to push. So just a simple push, deny, approve. She's like, you know what? I'm getting coffee, and I'm not in that location. I'll report it. So it gets reported. Okay, now, hackers are not going to stop there. They're going to irritate you. They're going to keep on doing this until you click OK. Now we escalate. Now we have a verified push. That 4840 is not known by Lee. She cannot possibly type in 4840. Only the hacker knows that. Okay, so she says, "Nope, still not me." And so suspicious login, boom. Hopefully this person goes and attacks somebody else. But that's the demo. I'm going to close by saying that a lot of the product portfolio is made up of a lot of different controls. One of them, fundamental, identity. Identity is the new perimeter. Okay, but to bring the portfolio together, we actually have to wrap it around a bunch of cloud services. That is the security cloud. The security cloud in a zero trust context, you can kind of think of it as the control plane for zero trust. And the data plane might be the network. It might be the endpoint. It might be Lee's device. But this is sort of how that architecture is built. And when Cisco comes to you and here's what your zero trust objectives are, we want to meet you where you are. You might have some of the parts already. You might not have anything. But again, meeting you where you are with the right technology so that you can get to your outcomes. That's what it's about. All right. That's it for me. I am handing it back to Lothar.
Thank you, TK. So what TK was showing was one element of our fabric of the multi-environment IT, focusing on the user and its device. So there's more story behind for the other elements. But as you heard it from Luigi, what are the recipes for success? He spoke about a mature zero trust implementation. And we have just recently released a study that has proven with companies that have a mature zero trust implementation, they are quite as successful as others in addressing the key things. Number one, what also Luigi said, was executive support and commitment. Number two, the peer buy-in. And last but not least, creating a security culture. So, what do we have going forward? How do you start? Number one, have a plan. Number two, understand where you are and where you want to go to and create a gap analysis. And last but not least, make sure you draft a roadmap. But I would say there's even a fourth one, is have first initial success, because when you have first success and first positive results, it's easier for the users to follow. So how do we support you? And for the ones who have not picked up their mobile phone yet, now is the time to make a picture, to scan the barcode. Why should you scan the barcode? Not only because you can go to our booth over there in the security area and visit our Zero Trust demo pod, but most importantly, we offer you free workshops on Zero Trust. One is focusing more on the design, another one more on the implementation. The next week, we have 2 workshops where you can join virtually when you register on the link behind the barcode. And for all the other elements, we have more material on our website. So we believe that we have the ingredients for you to build a strong Zero Trust implementation. We are happy to support you with all what we have to make you successful, that you are the ones on the right side from the Gartner statement on the 50% that are successful. With that, I wish you a great day and a successful implementation. Thank you for coming.